Hello there, Leo. How blessed am I to be here by this beautiful creek on such a lovely day in May to talk about your June messages from the tarot. I'm Michele B. Thank you for being here with me. Here I am looking at your messages. Okay, so I guess the main concern that I have being here is that at any moment a muddy dog is going to run over me. It's just a matter of time. But until then, let's live it up, right? We're looking at what to embrace and what to leave behind for the month ahead. And then we're going to use those cards. We're going to pivot off of those messages when we look at your soul purpose for the month, like your soul purpose messages for the month, your abundance and prosperity, and your love messages. We're just looking at a month ahead. All right, let's look at what we got. Ooh, 4 different cards came out regarding this, and I'm just, I think the main things that needed to be looked at. The Empress is here, but this is an energy that's just kind of hovering over and looking over what's going on. It's like you have some creative work to do, okay? This might have something to do with your soul purpose, but also we've got like this indecisive feeling for the immediate past that you really need to leave behind. If you haven't already decided to do this on your own, you're being called to just like stop that. There's like either someone from the outside is telling you that you need to be making some kind of choice, or you're getting pulled. Like it's like the collective consciousness is like, you should do this, you should do that, and it's pulling on you. Like the media or like the culture is like, this is the way you should be doing it, and you're like, well, maybe I should be doing it that way. Like, I can't really think of any examples off the top of my head, but it's just like you're being torn and you don't know which thing to choose. But when this card shows up, I'm feeling like you don't need to choose anything, because it's too, like, you're too confused between your logic and your intuition or your spirit. It's too, like, there's too much. You're not going to be able to make a good decision at this point with what you have. You don't know everything that you need to know for later. You don't know everything, so don't make a decision. And so you're leaving behind that feeling like you have to make a decision. Just let it go, okay? And then for what to embrace, we have the Temperance and the Victory card, 6 of Wands. So both of these cards are very victorious energies, feeling like you're definitely getting into your groove, but you're also being celebrated by other people for all the work that you've been doing lately. And Temperance is a lot about not Temperance. Ooh, I called it Temperance. Interesting. It's the star. Sometimes like, the lines are blurred for me between Temperance and the star. Those of you who know a lot about the tarot, you can weigh in on why it was that I called it Temperance, even though it's the star. But let's go to the star, Leo. And it's, like I said, I knew that it was after a period of some challenges, after a period of, wasn't necessarily that it was hardship, but it was being in the wilderness, not knowing where you were going, and not being sure that you were on the right path. And so you come to an oasis and things are just kind of good for a little while. It's like in the story of Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, where Siddhartha comes to a clearing and there's this beautiful woman, and she reels him in, and she's like, look at all of these earthly pleasures. This is what this time is about, the earthly pleasures right now, about just taking it easy, nourishing yourself. It's not a bad thing. Like Siddhartha, in hindsight, like at the time when he left it, he was like, this is keeping me from my spiritual path. Sorry, honey, you're always on your spiritual path. Even when you're living it up, you are on your spiritual path. You do not have to be an ascetic to be on a spiritual path. You can have all the good food, drink all the nice wine, and have a soft, squishy bed to sleep in. Yes, you can. And so that's what this energy is all about. You're like, okay, things have not been really, really awesome for a little while, and like, I'm kind of loving it. In the Northern Hemisphere, the weather's like this, and so you're like, I'm gonna live it up, okay? Good, good. let's look at your soul purpose. So I already spoke a little bit about the soul purpose, that Empress energy and the star energy both being there. Look at these two ladies are both about being comfortable, being well fed, being well rested, so that you can create for others. You can do your very best as a thoroughbred if you are well cared for. You are not a plow horse. You're a thoroughbred. The queen must be well kept in order to make good decisions. Ooh! In order to make good decisions, you need to be rested and well cared for. All right, so I already talked about your soul purpose. In order to be on point in your soul purpose, you must be well cared for. A pregnant woman must be nurtured in order to be able to create another physical body. So, don't feel bad for a second. Don't second guess it at all. You deserve it. You earned it. Live it up. Soul purpose messages, please. Thank you so much. Soul purpose messages. Fool. I love all of these major arcana coming out for you. It's all about the big picture, the big path that you're on. So you're like, okay, things are good. And so I can kind of put my life in neutral at this point and let the divine guide me, because things look pretty good. You know how, I'm sure you know this energy. Everyone has experienced it at one time or another, where you're like looking for trouble, especially in our collective consciousness as feminines. We're carrying the trauma of all the females of previous generations, where we're like, we need to be looking out over our shoulder for potential trouble. Like we're like little bunnies, you know? We're like looking out for any kind of problems. You're not in that space when it comes to your soul purpose at this point. You're not like, so you can focus on the creative projects. You can focus on what it is that's really important for your life path. You can focus on the things that light you up, that don't necessarily have to do with money, even if it could be that money is part of your soul purpose and wealth is part of your soul purpose, and that's cool too. But you're not like on guard, you're not distracted, so you can just move your energy straight toward what it is that you're here to do. So you're letting yourself be guided, because you're not worried about all the extra stuff. Things are kind of set up for you this month. Let's look at your material wealth and abundance. This has to do with your physical body. It has to do with your wealth. It has to do with your sexuality. Anything that's like physical and tangible. I definitely sense a lot of sensuality, a lot of like being in your body, with that Empress overlooking the whole reading. If I could angle the camera down so that you could see how the cards are playing out, I have the Empress set up so she's overlooking the other cards. And she's like, she's like ruling. And the way that she's looking out even over the Fool, she's like, I'll take care of you. You go do what you want. It's like the mother and the child. She's like, as long as she's there, the child can play and play and play. If she's distracted, then the child's like, where's mommy? Where's mommy? And then he gets scared. And then he's like not playing and, learning everything that he needs to learn. So it's almost like you're being watched over by this maternal angel, this maternal energy that's putting you in a place of just really being able to fully engage in the world. Anyway, back to the physical stuff. Back to the material abundance and prosperity. 10 of Wands, releasing burdens from other people. If you have not already, you're being asked to consider what it is that you can shed. This is going to lighten up your load. You see how he's only got 1 wand and this guy's got 10? You need to lighten your load up in order to get back on track with your soul purpose, or to continue being on track with your soul purpose. Part of your soul purpose is lightening your load. And you can't let other people can't be on point in their soul purpose if you're carrying the burdens for them. everyone has their own path to take. Everyone has their own lessons to learn. We can be helpful, but at some point we're just enabling them to not grow. So everyone has to have some challenge in order to be able to grow, even no matter how like subtle and squishy their challenges are, or it might seem to us. Everyone needs to have them. So it's time to hand those wands back to the owners, because everybody's got one wand, and for some reason you got 10. All right. And all those other people, they're just like, I don't know, I don't have a wand. Because they don't have anything to be excited about. They don't have any challenges. They don't have anything going on. All right? What that's going to do, and I focus a lot of my energy on material abundance because I love it. I love being able to conjure money whenever I want to. It makes me really, really happy. And one of the biggest things that I've learned in my studies is that every time you clear clutter out of your life, you're opening a channel for abundance to come in. So every person that you hand a wand back to, you're getting a pentacle in return. You're getting a coin in return. Not necessarily from them. Watch what happens. Every time that you respectfully, kindly allow someone else to carry their own burden, your money is going to increase. You're going to have a windfall. Watch it happen. Okay? And this is not about being rude, being like, do it yourself. You know, it's not about chewing people out. It's not about just like bailing on people all of a sudden. It's about respectfully, kindly handing their wand back to them. Okay? Let's get over to your love messages for the month ahead. We've got Leos that are in committed relationships. We've got Leos that are not in committed relationships and perfectly happy. And we've got Leos that... I smell cannabis. It's a public park. And we've got Leos that want to be in a committed relationship. So let's go general and then close in on those different scenarios. Wheel of Fortune. Very, very good. So as you are relaxing, allowing yourself to go with the flow, that's what the Fool does. He goes with the flow, letting yourself enjoy your abundance at this moment, allowing yourself to just be like, I'm just cozy and just doing my thing and getting comfortable. The Wheel of Fortune is starting to turn in your favor because your baseline energy is like, it's not manic, it's not sad, it's not anxious, it's just like, it's cool. And so things are flowing in and out of your life very smoothly and easily. It's like the circulation of air, like the circulation of the blood. It's just washing in and out really, really easily. So for those of you who are looking for a committed relationship, it's up to you which way you want to pivot this. Okay? If you want to be left alone, if you want to have your own space and do your own thing, I feel like that's what you can attract to yourself very easily in the month of June. If you want to attract someone to be connected with, check your vibration, check your energy, check what you think you deserve. That's what you're going to bring in very, very easily. You want to bring somebody in, it's going to be a surprise. You decide if you fully engage with the idea that you're going to bring somebody in to your life. Remember that it has to be someone that doesn't want to give you their wand to carry. Okay? You have to attract someone who's going to carry their own wand, and you also have to attract someone that's not going to carry your wands. All right? You both are doing your own thing, so remember that. It's going to be a surprise. It's like a surprise Wheel of Fortune. It's always bringing. It's like the universe is like rolling the dice for you and just bringing something that you never expected. So there's that. Some kind of surprise is coming down the pipe for Leo this month. Let's pull a card for those of you who are in a committed relationship. got the Gemini card, also the it's the Page of Swords. It's the Gemini card. It's also the card of kind of like bickering immaturity. Just like, if you can choose, you can steer the course of your connection, of your relationships. It can be like, I'm so sick of carrying my partner's burdens. I'm so sick of doing all these things, so I'm going to nag them to death about it. What's that going to bring you, right? How is that? You put it on the wheel, put it on the lazy Susan, spin it around, watch how it comes back to you. Is it going to be a good thing? Is the reflection going to be positive? However, if you, instead of being like, you're like, how about I'm just like, not going to do it, and I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just not going to do it, and I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not using my communication for this, all right? Or if I am using it, I'm doing it respectfully and honestly. They're saying to me, how come you're not making me dinner when I get home from work? And you're like, I didn't know that was part of the contract. Did you want me to make dinner for you every night when you get home from work? I didn't know that was part of the deal. I just wanted to do my own thing. Maybe you could make something very simple for yourself. You know? Stuff like that. Just say it to them in a kind of like respectful way that's not too smart-assy. That was a little smart-assy. I'm a Virgo, I can't help it. But, you know, don't go too smart-assy, but just also be like, since when is that my job? You know? And not in a rude way. Anyway, the wheel will bring back what you dish out. That's what I'm trying to say. In your connections, you're being reminded of, the wheel is like, it's dishing it out really quickly. Because we're in the mercurial energy. Mercury's going to be in retrograde, so it's going to be dishing out everything really, really quickly. Whatever we put out, it's going to come back really quickly. And when we're speaking in Mercury retrograde, when we speak something, it can come out the wrong way very, very easily. So really be careful with that in your committed relationships, and really put your focus on respectfully working things out. Just having your boundaries in place in a respectful manner, in a respectable manner, and communicating in a kind way, and not lashing out just because you're frustrated. Give yourself some space. You don't necessarily have to do anything, right? Oh yeah, I'm remembering that. All these swords, I'm remembering that. You don't have to do anything. Those of you who are in committed relationships and you're frustrated with something, you don't have to do anything. You just don't be involved in it. Take your space so that you can get along with the people that you love. All right? I feel like for those of you who don't know if you should get out of, I had a download that I should mention this. For those of you who don't know whether or not you should get out of a relationship that isn't going so well, I feel like you don't have to tell them anything. Those of you who need to hear this. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to tell them anything. They don't have to agree with you if you're not happy. All right? You can go, and you don't have to say anything. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to decide and spell it all out for them. You just be like, I'm going to avoid things that don't make me feel good. I'm not going to do things that leave me feeling unwell. I'm going to steer myself instead toward things that give me pleasure, toward things that make me feel cushy and happy and nice, right? I am not going to argue with someone about whether or not I deserve to feel this way, okay? I'm just going to do what makes me happy, for those of you who needed to hear that, all right? What? I feel like the Wheel of Fortune is changing things quickly. Either whatever you put in gets spit back out quickly, or your energy towards something comes around really quickly in the month of June, okay? So that's where I'm gonna leave off. And also, I just want to say, for those of you who are not really considering your relationships, romantic relationships, I'm talking about your intimate connections with your family, friends, coworkers, people that you really care about that are close to you, okay? It doesn't just have to be romantic. But that's where I'm gonna go. I love you, Leo. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already, so that you can get all my juicy readings that come up at least once a week. Also monthlies. Love ya. I'll see you later.